Gaza's children are caught in a spiral of hunger and displacement with barely any access to education or books. For their mothers, meeting these basic needs has been a daily struggle. Diana Shams is a young parent of 2 children and author of the book, A Different Kind of Motherhood. Here's her story in her own words.
In Gaza, even motherhood is a target. To carry life is to carry risk. To raise children is to raise them under fire, explosions, buzzing drones, and continuous displacement. Mothering in Gaza is not like mothering anywhere else. Here in Gaza, we struggle to find our children their basic needs, as food, education, clean water, medicine, and the ability to have a normal life and a good future. Before the war, I used to live in the north of the Gaza Strip. I used to live in my home along my 2 kids and husband. I used to have a very normal life. My oldest son, Karim, used to go to school. He was happy. My home was warm. It has the feeling of happiness. We were a happy family, but we were forced to leave our home the second day of the war. At dawn, in the dark, I carried my newborn Rose. She was only 7 months old. I wrote this book because I believe mothers all around the world would feel our pain when reading this book, because we carry the same love, the same dreams, the same strength for our children. Mothers around the world carry the same hopes. They pray that their children have a better future. While here in Gaza, mothers pray that their children will survive to have a next day.
Dr. Asil Jallad is an obstetrician and gynecologist. You volunteered, doctor, in Gaza during the war twice. And during that time, you saw over 1,000 patients. You delivered hundreds of babies. Today, you're joining us from the Jordanian capital, Amman, and it's great to have you on the program. What was that like, that experience of bringing life into a war zone and into one of the worst humanitarian situations in the world in recent memory?
Good morning, Cyril, and thank you for this opportunity. I would like to highlight, as you mentioned, I was given the opportunity to give life and to give birth in circumstances where women were denied access to the minimum basic of care, the minimum any woman in the world needs and deserves to have. Motherhood in Gaza is different from anywhere else I've ever witnessed or seen. Pregnant women had to walk for hours to queue to provide clean water for their kids, who are being taken care of in tents. God knows how safe these tents were. Women had to commute for hours to get to the basic of care, to come see a doctor somewhere in a field hospital or in another city. In the usual situation, this commute would take 10 to 15 minutes, but during the war, it's taken women 2 to 3 hours from one vehicle to another, getting on a cart and walking for like half an hour to an hour and finding a way to get to a doctor, knowing that even when she gets or reaches a clinic or a doctor, she won't be able to get what she needs as a patient because of the lack of resources. Birthing is supposed to be a beautiful experience to every mother giving birth. In Gaza, it's different because a lot of mothers grieve while giving birth. They grieve for their lost children. They grieve for their displaced ones. They grieve because they don't know if they're going to go back the next morning to find their kids who they left in a tent somewhere or in a bombed house somewhere, if they're going to find them alive or not. So that's the difference between motherhood in Gaza from anywhere else in the world. They don't know if they're able to leave the next day, knowing that they'll be able to provide for their newborns. She doesn't know if she can breastfeed her newborn or not. So it's a tragic yet hopeful experience somehow, because despite all of this, over 70,000 babies were born since October 7 in Gaza.
I wonder, and you delivered hundreds, I wonder, doctor, is there one particular moment that stays with you?
There are many, to be honest. one of the very, I don't know if it can be considered sad yet hopeful. It was a really young mother. She was 18 years old, and throughout her delivery, she was crying quietly. So I didn't know why she was crying that bad. I just started crying along with her. She desperately begged for her mother to remain with her during her delivery. So we kind of broke the rule and allowed her mother to stay with her during her delivery. And then when she was done, I wanted to break the ice and make it easier for her. So I started asking her what she wanted to name the baby. So she was like, she called the baby, and I asked who they're naming the baby after, and she was like, we're calling him after his deceased uncle. His uncle passed during this current war. So I was like, where's his daddy? She was like, his daddy passed away as well, and he didn't know when he passed away that I was carrying a boy. And it was their firstborn. They just got married a few months before the war. So I grieved this 18-year-old widow and this few months old orphan who's been born into this tragic world, not knowing his father. And his father left this world not knowing that he's going to have a boy coming into this world. So it's the story of many mothers in Gaza, to be honest.
You know, we just heard, just before your interview, from a young Palestinian mother, a mother of two, who wrote a book about what it's like to raise children in this environment and at that particular time. Obviously, so much of that experience is marked by tragedy. I wonder, did you have much time to talk to mothers about what their future would be like as mothers and raising children in that environment?
Yes, because most of our care that was needed in Gaza as doctors coming from other countries is basically psychological support. They needed us to know that we had to talk to these mothers all the time, because most of them did not have the support. They came to see us as doctors alone. They did not have a companion. They did not have anyone with them. So we needed to serve that aspect of care to them. So yeah, we managed to talk to a lot of women during their birthing experience, during the aftermath, after they delivered their babies. And despite all of this, we would assume or presume that these women would lose hope, because they've been going through this for 2 years. It's ongoing genocide, it's ongoing bombing and lacking every basic need. Yet again, these women have hopes. These women they're hanging on to life despite all of the resources and every right taken away from them. They would tell you, I want to watch my child grow. They cared about their children's schooling more than anything. I spoke to a lot of women and my colleagues as well who used to work with me. They were like, the thing that breaks me most is that my kids have lost 2 years of schooling and 2 years of education. They would tell you that their kids are sad because when their houses were bombed and they were displaced, they lost their toys. So these kids and these mothers are looking into basic things that every mother and every child in the world would look into. Despite all of this, they looked after it and they cared for their education. They wanted to see a life coming. They had hopes and they have dreams of what they want their kids to be in the future. So they deserve that the whole world stands by them and try to stop this genocide, to give them a chance to this decent life and these dreams, to see their children grow and become something in this world and serve their futures in the best way possible, as every mother in the world would want to see her child.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to chart a future for children, especially young children in Gaza right now, given what the Strip looks like, given the uncertainty. Dr. Asil Jallad, obstetrician, gynecologist, thank you very much for joining us on the program.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.